Okay. So as I was saying, we want to understand the meaning of Omkara. And I have good memories of listening to Swamiji about Omkara. And I've written some notes, and so I'm going to tell you from those notes. In the Kathopanishad, some of you are studying it, some of you have studied it before. Nachiketa is asking finally a question. The final question is what? Anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharmat. Like that he's asking. The big discussion story and all continues. Finally, Nachiketa is tired of all this thing that Yama is telling and said, finally, he says, tell me what is other than dharma and adharma. Other than dharma and adharma. That means he's gone towards moksha. You better tell me what moksha is all. To which our Yamadharma Raja responds. He responds by saying, Sarve Vedaha Yat Padam Amananti Tapamsi Sarvani Cha Yat Padanti Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Bravi. Like that he responds. Okay? If you recall that response, some of you, that's mantra number 15, 1, 2, 1, 5 of Kathopanishad. He's saying, Sarve Vedaha Yat Padam Amananti. Hey, all the Vedas, that message which all the Vedas give you, Tapamsi Sarvani Cha Yad Vadanti. And even all the people who have done tapas, okay, I mean, and the Vedas gives you all these tapas for which sake, for which sake. The Vedas talks about tapas. Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti. Hey, that desiring which people give up everything and take to brahmacharyam. Brahmacharyam charanti. Tat padam sangrahena bravimi. I will tell you that message very briefly. Hey Nachiketa, briefly, sangrahena. Om ityetat. How many of you remember this? Yeah, we studied that. Om. That's it. What you're asking for is Om. Like that is. That means what? This Om is not an ordinary thing, correct? Because Yama said it and teaching is over. Essentially, the teaching is over. That is Om. But the teaching, so Nachiketa will ask, tell me more. It's too cryptic. I don't follow. That's what he will say. So that is the main. Can't be briefer. So that Om is such a loaded sound symbol that we have to understand. The first meaning of Om, we mentioned it in that shloka that we got. Avati Rakshati iti Om. There's a linguistic meaning. First meaning is what? Linguistic. Language, Sanskrit language. So that Om is the Om, not the symbol Om. That Okara and Makara, that Om I'm talking about. Okara and Makara. Just two syllables. Not two syllables, actually one syllable. Om. One akshara is. But the length of it is matra. It's three matras. So that Om is derived, like all Sanskrit words are derived. Om also is derived from the dhatu avarakshane, avati, rakshati, iti Om. There's a derivation. And then ava, man, and then samprasaranam, and then ava becomes O, etc. There is a particular derivation. So avati, that which protects is called Omkara. Finally. Finally. Om Sahana Bhavatu. There also Avatu is there. That Avatu here also. That which protects is called Om. So what is it that protects? Ishvara protects. Ishvara protects. Sarvasya Karta, Sarvasya Dhata, one who sustains everything, creates everything, sustains everything also. And therefore protects. Protects by pervading the universe. A guy who's sitting outside the universe cannot protect the universe. He can be mighty, but not almighty according to us. Okay, according to us. Means Vedic people. Pervading the entire universe right now also. If the order that is there that you and I can perceive, that is Ishvara. That is Ishvara. If I ask you, what is this? You don't have a choice. You have to say it's a pot. Will this pot, tomorrow, will this pot become an apple? Most likely not, and it won't. Why it won't? Because that's the law. That's the law. What may break, what may something can happen, but what cannot become an apple? Because
Jada,
law. That's the
Jada.
way it is. So that's the way it is. Okay. And that law, the entire law is operating constantly. That is why science thrives. That there is something that you can study the phenomena of the universe and call it psychology, zoology, geology, this physics and chemistry and all that. That's all possible. Why? Because of that niyama. Because it's order. So just trying to get into the mind of God, as it were, is called science. Sometimes science is defined that, even though there's a separation, they say, between religion and science. For us, we don't have that kind of separation at all. But in the common understanding, that's the way it's. All right. So, avati rakshati iti om, by pervading the universe. Okay. And by giving us exactly what we deserve, and by being the law of karma also, all the laws of sciences gone. Then after that, there are other laws, notably the law of karma and dharma. Dharma and karma. One side of the coin is dharma, other side of the coin is karma. They go together. Okay. By being the karma phala data, protects that way. Okay. So he's saying you be in charge. Says you be in charge means you are in charge of your karma. That's the way he protects also. All right. So that is the linguistic meaning. Linguist. Now, now look. Now there is a Vedic meaning also. Vedic meaning. See, Mandukya Upanishad says, Bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam omkaraha eva. Mandukya Upanishad, first mantra, number one. Number one. There is no 1.2 point and all in Mandukya. It's all only, there are only few mantras in Mandukya. Handful of mantras, and so one is this. Bhutam bhavat bhavishyaditi omkaraha eva. So that omkara is taught when we study Mandukya. It says, Sarvam Bhutam, whatever is past, Bhavat, whatever is present, and Bhavishyat, whatever is going to come in the future, Sarvam Omkaraha Eva. That statement. Mandukya Upanishad. Yeah. So Om, therefore, we know Om is a very significant, because it is told by the Shastra. It is not invented by anybody. No human being created Om. Maybe the Om symbol, the way we write it today, somebody created it. Now, look at these things that we consider as the world in front of us. Suppose I ask you to get me some water. What now? You won't bring me a piece of paper with WATER written in it. You ask for water, Guruji. You won't. You won't. Not because I'm Guruji and all. Anybody also, you'll do the same thing. You'll get a glass of water. Why? Because the word water immediately gives in the head what happens. You understand something, an object. There is an object called water, and you understand everything. What the person wants to drink, thirsty, whatever you bring, exactly you know what that sound water, that word water in English, you know exactly. You bring that. So there is a word called water, there is an object called water, and there is a meaning. Before the object, you have a meaning. And somebody utters water, something, arthaspuranam happens. Word and meaning. Word and meaning. This whole conversation for 1 hour, you're able to sit through because arthaspuranam is happening, should be happening. Otherwise, no fool will sit for 1 hour simply listening to some sounds, which is not even music. At least music, I may be able to listen to 1 hour. But sitting for an hour, some sounds coming. Not possible for anybody. Why? Because meaningless sounds, we are not going to sit and listen. Nobody has time in this world to sit and listen to meaningless words. Every word has a meaning. And there are some words which you are trying to understand, which will take some time to understand, but understanding is going on. In every communication, at least in all this Laukika communication, you invite somebody, I haven't seen you in a long time. What happened? Where did you go? What happened? This, that, oh, your daughter. All this is going on. Every word is understood, correct? Every sentence is understood. Clear, crystal clear understanding. I went here, I went there. You should also go there. Bali is a great place. So everything understood. Word, meaning. Word, object, meaning. Word, meaning. In our Shastra, we say the word and the meaning are identical. You cannot separate a word from its meaning. Suppose I say that, suddenly some of you will raise your hands. Okay? Yeah, many people have raised their hands. Vagartha Viva Sampurtau. The famous statement, the first shloka that came out of Kalidasa's mouth is Vagartha Viva Sampurtau. He says word and meaning cannot be separated. That's it. He knew it. Kalidasa knew it. And he says exactly like Shiva and Parvati cannot be separated. And they are the Jagatath Pitaro, etc. So it is not, it doesn't feel obvious to us, but that is obvious. We take it for granted. If you don't know the meaning of a word, then that word is useless. Suppose I say, I went to Triptoptics. Suppose I say, Triptoptics. And then at best, you'll give me benefit of doubt. What did you say again, Guruji? Benefit of doubt. Because it's my ears did not work well. You must have said the right thing. So can you repeat that again? But finally, I keep repeating Triptoptics. Nobody understands it. Nothing, useless word for you it is. Until I explain it to you, it's absolutely useless. Yeah. Word and meaning. Word, meaning. Abhidhana, abhidheya. Another word, Sanskrit word I am introducing. Abhidhana is a word. Abhidheya is the meaning. What you're supposed to understand by this word, abhidhana, is abhidheya. If I say pot, immediately you understand what pot is. Okay? That's how it should be. A word should be like that. It should just tell you exactly what is going to be communicated. That's the power of a word. That's why proper choice of word. Good teachers use words very carefully, properly, and they will even pause. If the right word is not coming, they will just pause because they're not getting the right word. They don't want to use some other word which may give the wrong meaning. Again, so word and its meaning. You understand all these things. Now, this Vedic tradition is an oral tradition. There's no book, nothing, no computer. Everything's oral. The entire Veda was an oral tradition. And so the words were very important in our culture, other cultures also, definitely our culture. Word is important. Hearing was very important because nothing is written. The writing was there also. But word is always there. You don't need a book. Therefore, word. And they knew that it's the mind that is going to carry this tradition. No book is going to carry this tradition. Even monuments, temples are good, but even temples can perish. But this knowledge that is there in the head cannot perish. They knew it very well. So they have brought this tradition. It's all an oral tradition. Now, listen carefully. We're talking about the second way of deriving the meaning of Omkara. Now look, there is a piece of cloth. There's a rectangular piece of cloth. Big rectangular piece of cloth. And then we salute that piece of cloth. The entire nation salutes that piece of cloth. It's only a piece of cloth with some design on it. Some colors are there, some symbols are there. And everybody salutes. On a particular day of the year, everybody salutes. Piece of what is this? People are saluting. Hey, it's not a piece of cloth anymore, my dear. It's called a flag. You have to explain to your children. Small baby is there, and its baby also salutes because baby. It's just we are mimicking whatever Shraddha is there. Therefore, baby also salutes. Baby doesn't know anything what's going on, but baby salutes. Hey, Baba, why do you salute? You don't. You take a bath. There also in the bathroom there is a rectangular piece of cloth. You don't salute that piece of cloth. Oh, it's a rectangular piece of cloth. I should salute. No, 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 it's not like that. Why? Because that piece of cloth is loaded. It's loaded by tradition. It is loaded by the constitution. It is loaded by the nation and leaders. It's loaded. It's loaded for many, many years, decades, centuries. It's loaded, and then it becomes the norm. Immediately you see a flag, suddenly the whole attitude changes and you can't desecrate this flag anymore. There are rules and regulations how you should fold the flag, how you should display the flag, when you should display the flag, everything rules are there. So it's a loaded thing. Piece of cloth which now becomes very sacred for us. You go to somebody's house and they have the family album, few pictures are there on the wall. Oh, that's my grandfather, father's parents. This is my mother's parents. Children are there. Oh, what about her? Oh, that's my oldest son. He's working somewhere else. Like this, they explain to you, and then you can't say, "Oh, that frame. These frames are not good. Where did you make these frames? What? Not acceptable. Why? Because these are all sacred as a flag, and it's loaded also. It's also loaded, but it's not loaded by the nation, it's not loaded by tradition and all. It is loaded by you, your family. It's loaded by you. Just the fact that you have displayed it on the wall shows that these are very important. Loaded. It's after all a piece of paper. Nothing happens. If the frame falls down, it doesn't mean your children are falling down. If something happens, fire is there and this thing burns, children are not burning in fire. It's not at all. It's a piece of paper, that's all it is. But still very, very sacred. Correct? Saligrame Vishnu Dhyayet. Hey, there is a small crystal, transparent, shiny crystal, and it is there in your puja room. Loaded, loaded, deliberately loaded as Vishnu. That's Vishnu. Shivalinga. This is just some oval, some elliptical piece of stone. Okay, correct. But it is Shiva. Loaded. So it is possible for us to use a symbol, use an object, and load the object to mean something. Flag means something big. It means the entire nation, country, the people. The people who have given up their lives are all loaded there. The aspirations of the people are loaded there. The identity of the nation is loaded there. That piece of all right, like this. The Vedas is going to load a symbol, sound symbol called Omkara. It's after all a sound symbol. It's a sound. And that sound becomes a symbol, very important word for us when the Vedas comes and says it is Omityetat. When Yama says he's loading Omkara. He's saying Omkara is not an ordinary thing. It's a sound. I agree. It's only a sound. That's why you and I are able to pronounce it. But it means a lot. What does it mean? A. I'll tell you what it means. He says Om A U Ma. A plus U is O. Any Sanskrit student will tell you that. And O is called a diphthong in English. It's like a conjunct consonant. It's two swaras combined into one swara. A plus U, O, and Ma. And A again loaded. Loaded by what? Hey, your waking experience. A stands for your waking experience, your waking world. This world that I see and I say I'm amazed by that. This world, that world is represented by the Akara. And the entire waking experience, going, coming, and all the experiences the jiva has is symbolized by akaraha. What about ukaraha? The dream experience, dream world, the entire world, which is your own personal world, sukshma, subtle, very subtle. And that is also part of your living experience. Waking experience is there. The dream experience is also there. That dream experience is called ukara, loaded. Then makara is what? Sushupti is what is left out, deep sleep. So that sleeper and the sleeper experience is all symbolized by the letter ma. Makara. In Sanskrit, we put a suffix called kara to every letter to make it explicit. Because O, if I say, you may have a doubt. What did he say? Is it O or U or R? Ukara. It makes it easy that U comes out better if it is followed by this kara. Ukara. Otherwise, you have to say U. Did you understand U? Like that, you have to say. Make it easy. We say ukara. So akaraha, ukaraha, akaraha completes the entire human experience. It covers everything. All objects also cover. Entire universe is covered. Entire universe. Known and unknown also. I don't know the universe, really speaking, but the entire known and unknown universe covered by akara, ukara, and makara. Nothing is left. That's why that Mandukya says, Bhutam Bhavat Bhavishyaditi Sarvam Omkaraha Eva. Sarvam, the word comes in our Shastram, it means Jagat. Sarvam, Jagat, Omkaraha. So this kind of loading is happening here. By the Veda, it is loaded. My grandfather did not do it, and none of us did it. Vedas did it. Loaded. That is why when your grandparents give you a particular linga and say, take this linga and do puja to it. Your grandfather did puja to it, okay? Like that grandmother says, and now we can't do anymore. We are incapable. You take care of this now. Means what? Now it's your responsibility to do it, and that linga is loaded by whom? Shastram, of course, loaded it. On top of that, the grandparents, then their grandparents, and their possibly their grandparents. We don't know how many centuries it's been coming down. And okay, temples are all 1,000 years old, 1,500 years old in India. You'll find 1,500 years. That particular murti is there, loaded. That much loading is going on. That's why you go to a temple, it's entirely different. Loading because of all that loading that's happening. So here also, Omkaraha is loaded. Omkaraha is Sarvam. When I say Omkaraha is Sarvam, I'm reminded of this thing that I saw in America. And I was standing in line. I told you this before. I don't mind telling it again. I was standing in line, helping another person sign up to become an undergraduate student. Some course registration, something was happening in the beginning of the year, and paying the fees and all. And so I'm standing in line, it was moving slowly, big line. And then I was just looking behind. And this guy, one man is standing right there. Young man, Caucasian, okay, fair skin. And boy, hard. He came out of high school, most likely. Because first year of college, probably. Yeah, really very young. And this guy he's wearing a chain with an Om here. Oh, I was a bit taken aback. And I was prompted to ask him, hey, what is this? You're wearing a Om on your neck. That's all I said. You know what he responded? He said, yes, it's Om. It means the entire universe. This boy is hardly a boy. I mean, hardly a man. And I thought that was a time when I was studying the Shastra and I was beginning to understand this. I didn't know Om means Sarva. This boy became my teacher. It just shook me like that. Man, this guy knows this. And he's not even part of the Vedic culture. So he knew that Mandukya Vakya. Bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam omkara heva. This boy knew it. Okay? The boy knew it. What is his connection to the Vedas? Some samskara is there. My God. So this happened near Chicago. Okay? Joliet Junior College. I still remember. It is in the city of Joliet. Trying to sign up someone. And so this is the second meaning of Omkara. What is the first meaning? Linguistic meaning. Avati Rakshati iti. Now there is no language involved. This is pure loading by the Vedas. Vedic meaning of Om. I hope you're following. Correct? Now, third meaning of Om. Okay. This is a phonetic meaning. And you'll understand this shortly. I ask you, what is this? You will say it's a pot. I ask you, what is this? You will say it's a pen. It's a highlighter pen. Highlighter. Like this, I can show you so many objects. You will tell all those things. This is a book like that. So we have named objects. We have names for objects for a particular reason. Why? Because in communication, you need to say something. Get me a pen. This get me a pen is a meaningless statement if nobody knows what the word pen means. Pen is a shabda which has a meaning. And therefore, this pot, when you say, I understand pot, pot is understood as pot. And pot is not chair. Pot is not table. Pot is not airplane. Pot is not tree. Pot is not pot. Who understood that statement? Pot is not pot. Some of you understood that statement. Yes, three, four of you are raising a hand. It's a pun there. Pot is not pot. It's a pun. Let me explain it to the others who did not understand. When I was in college, this is where I learned that word pot. And somebody told, "Hey, he's smoking pot again." That's what my classmate came and told me. Means again he's got into this habit. That thing is called pot. Call it ganja, cocaine, or whatever. All these stimulants. That's called pot. That's what I meant when I said pot is not pot. I hope now all of you can shake your hands. I'm glad some of you at least understood. So pot, when they say, it is not all the millions of objects you know, except there is one specific object called pot. And you might go into the kitchen and say, oh, there are some pots and pans there. Okay, that is a different pot. This is a different pot. That college pot is a different pot. Okay, and so pot. So we have given a name called, in English at least, P-O-T. In Sanskrit, there is a word for it. Hindi, there is a word for it. And Tamil also, every language has a word for this. Panai, ghat, ghataha, etc. Words are there. All right. Now, now we want to give a name for Ishvara. Bhagavan, kya naam denge? We have to do Namakaranam for Ishvara. You know Namakaranam, right? When a baby is born, we have to do Namakaranam. The giving a name is a very big samskara in the life of a child. It's going to live with that name forever. Vikram, if you call the child comes back. That's the identity. The child is going to become identity. I mean, the name and the boy cannot be separated. That's how it's going to become. So now our job is to give a name to Ishvara. What will you do? This is pot, this is not chair. But pot is Ishvara. This is not chair, but chair is Ishvara. This is not airplane, but airplane is Ishvara. This is not tree, but tree is Ishvara. This is not pot. Pot is also Ishvara. Ganja is also Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. So now I have an idea. So take the English dictionary, assuming we're going to give an English name. Take the English dictionary, connect all the words together. That should be the name of Ishvara, correct? Then the guy who doesn't know English will not have a name. Leave alone the fact that it's impractical to pronounce that name. That's different. But a name is there. Then Chinese, you have to come up some name, and then every Gujarati, Tamil, everything you have to give a name. Sanskrit, at least every other language, there is a dictionary. In Sanskrit, Swamiji I still remember this. Swamiji says, a Sanskrit dictionary is an apology. I'll explain that to you. Okay. It means in Sanskrit, suppose I say Dasharatha Putra, Dasharatha Putra, if I say, you won't find that it's a word. Dasharatha Putra means Dasharatha's Putra. That is the meaning of it's a samasa. It's one word in Sanskrit. Suppose I say, Kulala Putra Kim Karoti. If I say, I just invented a word, and the word that I invented is called Kulala Putra. Kulala means pot maker. Kulala Putra Kim Karoti. What is the son of the pot maker doing? Guess what? He is also making pots along with the father. If you look up the dictionary, go to the dictionary, Sanskrit dictionary, and look up Kulala Putra, you won't find it. You will find Kulala. After that, Putra, you can find separately. Kulala Putra will not be there. We just made up that word. Kulalasya Putra, Kulala Putra. Like this in other languages also there are. But Sanskrit, you can make words just like that. The other day I wanted to introduce a friend of mine in Sanskrit. This guy is a mechanical engineer, etc. So Yantrika Abhiyanta. Okay, that's mechanical engineer. And then he's a owner of a company. He runs a company and he makes chemicals, intermediates that go into the manufacturer of medicines. Pharmaceutical companies buy his product. He doesn't make medicines, but he makes things that go into making medicines. They're called pharmaceutical intermediaries. So I wanted to find a Sanskrit word for that. So I figured it out. Pharmaceutical is Aushada. Intermediate is Madhyavarti. Madhyavarti means that which is Madhyavartite iti Madhyavarti. I just came up with Madhyavarti, but I went to the dictionary and made sure Madhyavarti means intermediate. It says in between existing and all it says. So Madhyavarti, intermediary, and then Nirmata, manufacturer, creator. So Aushada Madhyavarti Nirmata Saha. It's a pakka word it is in Sanskrit. And but you won't find this word in the dictionary. Any of us can come up with these kinds of words. So Swami said dictionary, Sanskrit dictionary is an apology. Apology means it's just basic. Just for us to learners can use Sanskrit dictionary maximum. After that, it's well served the purpose. After that, you have to start creating words. People will ask you, tell me what shlokas you wrote. Or what story did you write? Like that they will ask. So where are we now? We don't get lost here. We are trying to find a name for Ishvara, correct? Otherwise, you will get lost. I also get lost. What am I talking? Like that, each of them, you have to remind me what I am talking. So, trying to find a name for Ishvara. So, this using words and language is not going to help us. We have to grow out of language. And one way to grow out of language is to stick with sounds because has A to Z, Sanskrit has A to Ha. Like this, every language has letters. Every language has words, words has letters. Letters is finally sounds. Sounds we appreciate. And sounds are not language dependent. You ask a person to open their mouth and then utter a sound and then issue a sound and now make a sound. Whether that person is an Indian or a Frenchman or a German or a Colombian or Argentinian or Chilean or American or Canadian, that sound is going to be It can't even be A because for A you have to twist your mouth a little bit. A, you have to twist. O, you have to bring the lips together. Only then you'll get O. If you keep the mouth wide open, the only sound you can get is Keep saying and then close your mouth. You close the mouth, you make a sound. It will be makara only. To ma. Because for closing the mouth, the lips have to come together and then the ukara comes in between. And A plus U in Sanskrit is okara. So Om, A, U, Ma. This sound that is uttered the, with the mouth open to the mouth closed, which any human being in the world can do, okay, is called Om. And the entire universe is nothing but words and words and words. Every word is bunch of letters. All letters start from A and go to the open sound to the closed sound. Those are the only sounds. All sounds are going to be between these two only, A and Ma. And therefore, by saying Om, you are uttering the name for the entire universe, which is the name for Ishvara. Therefore, this is the phonetic derivation of the meaning for Omkara. Phonetic, no language, language independent. First was language, Avati Rakshati. Second was Vedic superimposition, deliberate Vedic superimposition. Now, a phonetic superimposition, phonetic way of understanding the universe. Because the entire universe is what? Nama Rupa. We said Satya, Mithya is all Nama Rupa only. So Nama and Rupa, Nama and Rupa. Every Rupa will have a Nama. Nama, Nama, Nama. Every Nama is a series of sounds. And therefore, the word Om is a word. The sound Om incorporates all sounds, which means it incorporates the entire universe, which means it is a name for Ishvara. Correct? This is the derivation of the meaning of Omkara. This is why Yama says, Sangrahena Bravini Om Ityetat. Let me tell you briefly the answer to your question, Nachiketa. The answer to your question is Om. Can't be briefer than that. Okay? And so, that Om is the Abhidhana, referring to the Abhidheya, which is Om. Just like when I say pot, immediately you understand what it is. When I say water, immediately you understand what it is. Like that, if I say Om, immediately it should strike you. What should strike you? Ishvara should strike you. Bhagavan, all pervasive Bhagavan should strike us. The Bhagavan, which is a topic of Bhagavad Gita, should strike us. Just like many words given many meanings. So, therefore, Om is a primordial sound, and all some people say. Primordial sound. We don't even know the meaning of I don't know the meaning of primordial. I think primordial means some original sound or something. The first sound that came and all. Okay. First sound is Omkarascha Shabdascha Dvaveto Brahmanah Pura Kantham Vidva Viniryato Tasman Mangalika Ubhau. Yeah, when Brahma, just before creating, uttered the word Om and Atha. If that's what you mean by primordial, I can follow. But any other thing you mean by primordial may be wrong. Because we are talking about the entire Ishvara. Okay. So this is the meaning of Omkara, which I had in my mind to talk about, but now this Om Tat Sat came in this Bhagavad Gita. On top of that, in the last class, we had some time left also after the last shloka was covered. And so everything fit just well. So I really thank everybody and thank Ishvara for providing us this opportunity.
Thank Om.
We conclude with that. Om Apadamapahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. Om Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasyashalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitah Brahmanas Santu Nirbhayaah. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।